Hey guys, welcome to another yoga class. My name is Emily and today I have for you yoga for tight legs, right? Whether it be your hamstrings, your hips, your quads, whatever it might be, we're gonna hit all aspects of your legs, your lower body today. And so this class is good for pretty much all of us. Okay, so I've got blocks handy. You don't necessarily have to have them, but sometimes it's helpful to just bring the ground up to you. So if you've got something block-like handy, have that at the top of your mat. And then just meet me in a cross-legged position. All right, so the legs are crossed. We'll sit up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back. Take a big breath in, breath out. And then take another big breath in, reach the crown, the head up towards the ceiling, and then bring your hands forward and maybe start to walk the hands forward, right? If this feels like too much, you could stay sitting up tall and just kind of breathing for a few moments. But otherwise, the hands come down. Maybe if it feels okay, the forearms come down. Now we're trying to keep our sits bones, our hips back on the ground, right? So if coming forward means that you're kind of tilting off of the ground, then come back up a little bit, right? Okay, so take a big breath in, breath out. Then walk both of your hands over to the left. Keep your right hip on the ground, right? We're not lifting up. We're staying nice and rooted. We're finding a side body stretch. So keep reaching that right arm out, out, out across the body. Feel that big side body stretch. Take a big breath in. Let it go. Then come back through center, walk over to the right. Same idea, right? Keep that left sit bone down on the ground. Just find that big side body stretch. Then come back through center, walk the hands back up, rise up, and then bring your hands behind your hips. So I'll show you from this side. So if this is too much on the hips, you can always prop your feet out in front for this next part for a reverse tabletop. Otherwise, keep the legs crossed, bring your hands behind your hips, roll your shoulders back, lift the heart, and then press down into your feet, your shins, your knees, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Go nice and easy at first, because sometimes you get some, cracks and pops out of the hips. So go nice and easy. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, bring the hips down and swap which leg is in front. So you're just gonna cross the opposite shin in front, okay? So you're gonna sit in a way that feels weird because you don't normally pick this leg for this seated position. Okay, so inhale, sit up tall. And then exhale, once again, fold down. And notice there could be major differences in your hips, right? So that's okay. So maybe you don't fold at all on the side, or maybe you fold less, whatever it might be. Just take a few breaths in and out. And then begin to walk your hands over towards the right. So we're going to stretch that left side body. Keep that left hip rooted down to the ground. Take a big breath in, breath out. Then come through center, move on over to the left. Same thing. Then come back through center. Walk the hands in, lift up. Same thing, hands come behind the hips, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart up, and then press down to lift the hips up. Maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing the hips forward. Take a big breath in. And then breath out. Bring the hips down and find your tabletop, however you want to get there. So you could roll over the shins, or you could get there however you want, right? But all fours. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath of hips. Hug your belly up and in. Nice flat back. And then we'll just find 2 rounds of cat-cow. So on your inhale, drop the belly, look forward and up. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. One more time. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And then come through center. And we're just going to step the right foot forward into our low lunge. So take your time And then know that if you want blocks, you could always grab your blocks, right? So blocks can come in handy when we're kind of working in our low lunge position. But otherwise, hands can just come to the ground inside of that right foot. So maybe that even means that you heel toe the right foot out to the side. Okay, so I'm going to actually show you from a different angle. I'm going to show you from this angle right here. So we're in our low lunge, right knees over the right ankle. And then I just want you to find a little bit of movement here. So kind of sway the hips a little bit side to side. Move the upper body side to side, right? Maybe you look over that left shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Right? But just find a little bit of free movement, whatever feels good for you. And then maybe you plant the hand, bring the left hand, bring the right hand to the right knee, and you can kind of open and close the hip, right? If the knee is going to go out to the side, then take the toes out to the side with it, right? So just open and close. And then come back through center. Stay either on fingertips or see if it feels okay to bring the forearms down to the ground. Right, so keep the right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Just take a few breaths in and out here. And then start to walk your hands away from that right foot. So forearms away from that right foot. The right knee is still going to continue to point up, but then brace yourself into that left forearm. Remember, you could be on left hand, but otherwise brace yourself on that left forearm and reach your right arm past the left arm. Right, so you're reaching across the body away from that right foot. Breathe into your right side body. Take one more big breath in, breath out. Come back through center, plant the hands, rise up. And then we're just going to send the hips back for our half splits. So we'll shift the hips back. The right leg goes towards straight. You can keep a slight bend in that right knee. But then again, we're just going to find a little bit of movement. So just maybe sway your hips side to side. Or you could kind of find that cat-cow action, right? Finding flexion and extension with the spine. So rounding and then kind of finding that little bit of a back bend as well. And then maybe you even start to toy with coming forward to that low lunge and then shifting back half splits. So there's no real right or wrong. It's all kind of exploration of the body. What feels good for you? All right, so we'll all come forward to that low lunge, plant the hands, and then just send the right knee back to that tabletop and sway your hips side to side. And then we'll switch sides. So that left foot will step forward into that low lunge position. Left foot could be a little bit more towards the left edge of the mat. Hands inside of that left foot. And then again, we're just gonna move around. So shift the hips side to side. Move the upper body around. Move it in and out of the pose. And side to side could be different. So feel free, right? If one side you're exploring feels like you want a little bit more attention in one area that maybe you didn't even find on the other side, that's okay. Just keep on moving around. And then maybe you plant the right hand, bring the left hand to the left thigh and start to press that knee away. Open up through the hip and then close it again. Remember, left foot is going to kind of come off of the mat. Go to that knife edge of that left foot as well as the knee goes out. All right, then come back through center. Either stay on fingertips, maybe just bend the elbows a little bit, or see if you can come down to forearms. Forearms could always be on a block, right? And then just take a few big breaths in and out here. Seeing if you can relax into that left hip a little bit, release some of that tension. And then either start to walk your hands towards the right, away from the left foot, or walk your forearms to the right, away from that left leg, right? But the left knee is going to stay pointing up towards the ceiling. It's not going to follow you. It's not going to go out to the side. It's going to stay right where it is over that left ankle. Plant the right hand or the right forearm. Reach the left arm way out over that right arm and away from that left leg. So you find that big side body stretch while finding this huge hip stretch. And take one more really big breath in. Breath out. Then come back through center. Plant the hands, rise up. Shift the hips back towards our half splits. So again, your hands could be either inside of that left leg, or you could bring the left foot a little bit more through center and frame the left leg. Up to you. But then we're just going to kind of find all that movement again, right? So move the hips side to side. Move in and out of the pose. Maybe even point the toes and then flex the foot, right? So whatever movement feels good. And then maybe you start to move into that low lunge, half split kind of combo, right? Moving back and forth. And then we'll all slowly shift back to that low lunge, plant the hands, and then just step that left knee back to that tabletop position and sway the hips side to side. And then plant the hands, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, send the hips up and back. And pedal out the legs. So check in with the back of the legs again. And then find stillness. So knees can be bent. Feet are about hip distance apart. Press your hands down and forward to drive your chest back towards your thighs. And then even if your knees are bent, press your heels towards the ground. They probably won't get to the ground. That's okay. Not really the point. But the point here is to engage the feet and feel that huge stretch through the back of the calves as well. So take one big breath in. Breath out. Then start to tippy-toe your feet up to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Take your time to get there. And when you do, just hang in your forward fold for a moment. Knees are bent, belly to thighs. Relax the head down. Then inhale to your flat back. Reach the crown of the head long. Roll the shoulders back. Forward fold. Bow back down. Then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold right back down. Then inhale to your flat back. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. And then maybe heel toe your legs a little bit longer on the mat. So I want that left leg to be really firm. The quad is engaged. The leg is as straight as it can be. Then inhale, reach your heart forward. Press your hips towards the ground, even though that left leg stays straight. So left leg is still straight. We're just pressing the hips towards the ground. Then inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, press the hips towards the ground. Keep that left leg straight as can be. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press the hips down, reach the heart forward. Then this time, inhale, lift the hips up. We're going to walk the hands to the left, so the long edge of the mat, as the right foot pivots through center. So we're going to bring our feet to parallel. We're facing the long edge of our mat. Feet are parallel. They're nice and wide. Then inhale to a flat back, and exhale, just fold down over your nice wide legs. Drop the head.
And notice where you have most of the weight in your feet. We tend to take our weight back in our heels a bit. But so see if you can start to take some of the weight into your toes as well. The heels will not lift off of the ground, right? We're just evening out the weight a little bit. Then inhale to a flat back. Bend into the left knee. Sink the hips back and down, just a side lunge to the side. And then shift over to the other side. Bend the right knee. Side lunge. And then back and forth just a few times. All right, then the next time that you're bending into the left knee, I want you to pivot all the way to what is the back of your mat, right? Back to that lunge again, right? So now the left knee is bent, knee over ankle. The right heel is up in the back. And again, we're going to engage that right leg this time. So the right leg is really firm. We're just doing the same thing we did on the other side. So even if you're turned away from me, you got this. Okay, so come up to fingertips. Lift the hips up, take a big breath in. And then on your breath out, that right leg as straight as can be, but press your hips towards the ground. Big stretch for the front of that right hip. Inhale, lift the hips up a little bit. Exhale, press the hips down. Keep that right leg straight. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press the hips down. Then inhale to lift up. Pivot back to that wide-legged forward fold. So your feet become parallel again. Just fold down over the legs. Then inhale to rise up halfway, flat back. And start to heel toe your feet towards the center. So the center of the long edge of the mat. Right? Then we'll find our Melasana Squat. So your heels will be in, your toes will be pointing slightly out. And then just bend the knees, sink your hips down. Right? If you've got a block and this feels like an awfully big pose, you can always sit up on the block, right? And find a little bit more height and support in the pose. Otherwise, sink your hips down. Bring your hands to heart center. Press your elbows into your thighs. Lift your heart towards your thumbs. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, just kind of plop down on your butt. Hands could come behind you or you could get to seated however you want. But we'll find a seat. Sit up tall, take a big breath in, and let it go. All right, then keep on going. We're going all the way onto our back. So we'll come down onto our back. Plant the sole of the left foot on the ground. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And then you can either stay here the whole time or take your hands, loop them around the left thigh, pull the legs in closer to you. If the right elbow touches that right thigh, maybe you press the right thigh away from you. And then just take a few big breaths in and out here. And then we'll just switch sides. So bring that left foot down. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And then again, either feet stay on the ground or draw the legs in closer to you. Keep relaxing through the shoulders. And take a big breath in. Let it go. Bring that right foot down. Uncross the left leg. And then Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall out wide. And just bring your hands to your rib cage. Relax through the shoulders, the head, the neck. And every exhale, see if you can relax a little bit more through your hips, through your glutes.
And then take one more big breath in. Sigh it out. Extend the legs out long. Arms by your side. Give everything a little bit of a shimmy and a shake. Move around a little bit. And then get really still. Let your bones get heavy. Let your muscles relax. And take one more big breath in. Breath out. Roll onto your side. And then press yourself up to a seat. All right. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.